All right, Patriots fans, what is going on? Welcome back to the Patriots Drive podcast. This is Jace and Cole, and we are within a week of the 2023 NFL draft. So it was time to bring out a NFL mock draft. Today we are going off of Cole. I'm gonna butcher his name.
Peter Schrager.
Schrager. I don't know why I want to say that differently than what it is. But Peter Schrager's mock draft just released it a couple days ago, April 19th. At the time you guys are watching this video. But let's start off. Trayvon Walker, a guy that's been shooting up draft boards. A lot of guys off of his performance and pro day have him going number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's what Peter Schrager has him going here. Aiden Hutchinson following him to the Lions at number 2. I think that'd be a dream. Aiden Hutchinson, I think consensus number 1 overall pick, and the Lions would be shocked to see him sitting there at number 2 for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly surprising, but we've seen a couple of guys have that happen. Walker seems like a top 5 solidified pick for sure at this point. I mean, if he's being in consideration for the first overall pick. So that's the first shocker there. Schrager seems to be pretty tapped in with a lot of the NFL circles. So usually when you see a mock draft from him, this isn't his personal ideas. This is all just based off what he hears from around the league and from his sources and stuff. And he talks to a lot of different coaches and GMs. So I think he usually has a good idea what's going on. I haven't checked his previous mock drafts to see the accuracy at the end of the day. I mean, maybe they're feeding him something just to write a narrative and then they pick somebody else. It's all strategy during draft season, so you never know. But that's certainly interesting. Kenny Pickett going off the board at 6 as well. He has Evan Neal being the 3rd tackle taken off the board at number 8 overall, the Falcons. Sauce Gardner at 7. Jameson Williams, the first wide receiver, at 10. Derek Stingley at 9. So a couple corners going early. We expected that. Jameson Williams is another surprise, though, being the first receiver taken off the board with that ACL injury, still being a top 10 pick.
Yeah, and at 10, he obviously falls to the New York Jets, which I don't think New England Patriots fans want to see him twice a year. If he lives up to the expectation coming off of that ACL injury, that's very scary. So him going number 10 to the Jets is a scary sight. Another receiver, Garrett Wilson, goes to the Commanders. Kyle Hamilton falls all the way to 13 to the Texans. I don't know if that's really likely.
I've been hearing that a lot. I have been hearing he's fallen a lot.
I know the Jets are super high on him. I always thought it was a little bit, crazy to think of a safety being taken top 5 when he was getting, rumored to be the 2nd, 3rd, 4th overall pick. But I know the Jets are high on him. He's a guy that they might look to get other than Thibodeau at 4, or maybe they take someone else at 4 and then snatch up Kyle Hamilton at pick 10. So he's a guy. And then one of our favorite tackle prospects, if New England goes offensive line, goes to the Baltimore Ravens. That's Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa, someone that New England could probably get at 21, hopefully maybe trade down for and still get him. But he's a guy that would be a future tackle and be protecting Mac Jones for a while if he were to fall down to New England.
Yeah, and then a few receivers off the board in a row after that, after Penning. Drake London to the Eagles, Olave to the Saints, Treylon Burks to the Chargers, and then another potential Patriots target, Devin Lloyd, linebacker to the Eagles at 18, Jordan Davis to the Saints at 19, and Malik Willis at 20 to the Steelers. So 2 quarterbacks off the board in the first 20 picks before the Patriots go. That's kind of what we expect. You've seen a lot of different things, but usually Pickett and Malik Willis are the 2 quarterbacks expected to go in the top 20 before the Patriots pick. This leaves the Patriots with a few options. There's a couple corners on the board here. There's still a linebacker that some of you guys like. We're not as high on him, but at 21, Jace, go ahead. Who does Schrager have the Patriots taking?
Peter Schrager has the Patriots taking zone corner specialist Trent McDuffie out of Washington. I think this is a guy that maybe can come in and fit a role for New England. He's going to be more of a zone corner guy. He only played, I got to pull up the exact stats now. Sorry, I lost it. He only played 60 man coverage snaps last year. That was almost 300th in all of college football. He played 235 zone snaps. He's a zone corner specialist. He ran a 4.44 40. That's what he's done most of his career at Washington. He had an 88.7 coverage grade there. He is super fast. His change of direction is great. The one worry is if New England still wants to play press man is he doesn't have much experience playing man coverage in general, and he has sub 30 arms, kind of like the Roger McCreary incident that we talked about, where he's coming in at 29 3/4 inch arms, and that's a little shorter than most cornerbacks in the NFL are playing, especially if you want to be a good, successful press man coverage corner. So I like the pick there. I think that, we've talked about the possibility of New England going more to a zone to, contain some of these receivers coming into the AFC East and be able to counter some of the routes that they're going to be running and the ways that teams are going to be utilizing their skill sets. So if that's what New England does, this is probably the best zone corner in the draft, and I could see why New England would take McDuffie at 21.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head with all that there. 5'11", so not bad height-wise, I wouldn't say, but like you said, length is the concern. He played really well. Like you said, played a lot of zone coverage snaps. He doesn't have a lot of tape in man coverage. That's the only really concern if the Patriots want to play man. Like you said, you pretty much touched on it all there. But I'd be really happy if they got any of the top 5 corners on the board at this spot at 21. So McDuffie's a great fit. I mean, I've seen him go as high as like 10 to 12 range. He's certainly talented. The length is the one concern. Perfect fit if the Patriots want to switch to more of a zone coverage team. Even if they want to play man, I still think he's a good enough corner, a good enough athlete to be able to do that. We just haven't seen him do it a lot. So maybe he falls a little bit because of his length, and the Patriots scoop him up and think it's a great value. So a couple interesting things here. At 21, Andrew Booth was on the board, a guy who didn't even get taken in the first round of this mock draft. Nakobe Dean didn't get taken in the first round of this mock draft. Dax Hill to the Bucks at 27, Devontae Wyatt to the Packers at 28, Kyler Gordon at 30 to the Chiefs, and that's the last corner. So a few corners going off the board before Andrew Booth. I don't know if that's his injuries that he's had surgery recently and he's recovering. I don't know if that's dropping him a little bit to the early second round. For the Patriots, if they trade back to the early second round and get Andrew Booth, I think that's a home run. So that'd be awesome. But it is interesting to see Dax Hill starting to move up draft boards. He was originally like a mid-second round pick, is what most people had him listed as. He slowly moved up to a high second round pick, and now he's dipping into the first round in a lot of different mock drafts. So a guy that the Patriots, I think, could certainly be a target. Dax Hill could be the future safety of this team to learn from Devin McCourty this year and then swing back to safety. And I think he could be a great Patriot for a long time. So that's another target if they wanted to trade back a little bit. But it looks like they're going to have to take him in the first round. Based on some of these mock drafts, his value is starting to move up.
Yeah, and the other guy that wasn't taken in this mock draft, Kiar Elam, someone who we think is maybe the best scheme fit at cornerback for the Patriots, where he's played so much press man. He has great length. He ran a great 40-yard dash time. So there's guys on here, and I think that this, leads back to what me and Cole were saying, where if this is the draft board, I don't think I'd mind New England trading down at all, getting an extra third round pick, something in that range, getting another top 100 pick, and bolstering up another position and still being able to snatch up an Andrew Booth, a Kiar Elam. Maybe if we were to get ahead, you could take Devontae Wyatt, who's been a very, very he's climbed so much off of his draft stock, or his draft stock has off of his combine and stuff. And if he's there, maybe New England looks to pair him with Barmore for the long term and guys like that. Dax Hill is an intriguing guy. I think that he's someone that New England could trade down for, maybe later 30s, early second, if he's still there. He has 32-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. He ran a 4.38 and he ran a 4.06 shuttle. And he's a little taller than McDuffie at 6 foot. The thing with Dax Hill is, I don't know if I'd take him over Booth or Elam or probably even McDuffie for that matter. So if all three of those guys are off the board, then I think Dax Hill's a great, second option right there that could come in, and he's very versatile. He played 80 snaps deep at safety, 132 snaps in the box, and then 580 snaps slot corner last year. So he's played everywhere on the field. He's a very versatile guy. And he's someone that could come in and, maybe replace a couple roles or be in the running to replace some of them. So there's a couple interesting moves here. And the other one that, I don't think Patriots fans are going to want to hear is Zion Johnson still on the board. New England needs interior offensive line help. You trade down, you get him. He's probably your day one starter at left guard.
Yeah, that's probably how the Patriots are going to think. They're going to certainly think about that. But I like we've touched on before, I think they're going to find value in a guy later in the draft as well. So they'll probably throw 2 darts at the board for that position because you need a starter there, day one, immediate starter, unless they feel really good about somebody they already have, which I don't think they do. I haven't heard anything about that. But one thing I wanted to touch on real quick, because we've had some people ask if there's anybody that I'd be okay with the Patriots trading up a couple picks to get, and just a couple. I don't think they're going to be trading up at all. Like, I don't think they're going to trade up at all. But if they trade up, I only think it's going to be a couple picks, and I still don't think it's likely. If you trade to that 18-19 range, Jordan Davis, one guy I'd be okay trading up with, and if for the right price, obviously. I think he'd be a stud. I think you put him next to Barmore. I think that interior of the defensive line is locked up. I think you don't have to worry about the run game anymore. Godchaux's on the last year of his deal. We got some aging guys in the interior of that defensive line. I would love Jordan Davis to the Patriots if he fell here. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be a beast. I think he's gonna be such a good player in this league. And I think him next to Barmore would be an elite duo for a long time for the Patriots. So him or one of those top two corners that we've touched on, Derek Stingley Jr. or Sauce Gardner, but I think they're both going to be gone in the top 12 to 14 picks at the worst. So I don't think that's an option. I think they're going to be out of reach for the Patriots.
Yeah, you talk about a guy that's a freak of nature and has only improved his stock from the draft. It's Jordan Davis, 6'6", 341, 34-inch arms. He ran a 4.78 at that size. He jumped 32 inches in a vertical, and then he had a 10.3 broad jump. I mean,
at that size,
dude,
jumping
at 6'6", 340, that's what he's doing. And like you mentioned it, he's going to come in. And the one concern that most people have, along with me, is the first Alabama game, he kind of got ran off the field. He couldn't stay on the field for all three downs. They went up tempo. He was a little oversized. But you want to talk about a true nose guard to play opposite of Barmore, this is the dude. I mean, Vince Wilfork 2.0, say it whatever you want about him. That's exactly what he is. He's going to come in. He's going to be that for New England. And I think Bill would love a guy like this to have on the interior front.
Once Bill Belichick gets him running those hills, he'll be fine. He'll be all right. 3 down, 4 down. Heck, add a 5th down, throw him in there. He'll be all right. Once he's on those hills, he'll be in shape. Bill will get him going. It's obviously a little bit of a concern, but I really do believe that the Patriots have their guys. I mean, you heard Jabril Peppers in his interview when he got here, he was asked what was one thing he noticed like that stood out about the Patriots compared to anybody else during the joint practices. He was like, how in shape they were so soon. It was preseason, before even preseason. It was joint practices, and he was like, they were already so much more in shape than anybody else, it seemed, and they were just running. Everybody knew what their job was, from the starters, second team, third team, fourth team, whatever it was. Everybody knew their assignment and was like locked in. It felt like is what he said. So I think conditioning, once he's on those hills, once he's running up and down those hills, and get all the nutritionists, hydration, everybody who's doing all that stuff, I think Davis will be fine. I think he'd be such a good fit here. Like you said, Vince Wilfork 2.0. I think he would be a monster in the middle of that defense. And a lot of people say, oh, well, what is a defensive tackle going to do to stop Josh Allen in that offense, the Bills offense, whatever? First off, he's going to stop the run. He's going to cause havoc there. Second off, you can't put Christian Barmore one-on-one. You can't put Jordan Davis one-on-one. You can't put Matt Judon one-on-one. You have those three guys, and if you get somebody solid on the other side, somebody's going to be one-on-one, and somebody's going to eat. And also, he's 6'6", long arms. He can swap passes down. You can make the team one-dimensional, even if you want to get him off the field on third down, which I think you could keep him in. I think you can make an argument for that. I think he's going to make such an impact in more than just one facet of the game, more than just the run game. I think even in the pass game, I think he's going to be a mismatch nightmare, and he's going to eat up bodies and get guys like Barmore one-on-one matchups, Judon one-on-one matchups, and let these guys eat. And I think it's going to be such a good addition to this team if he somehow fell. I don't think he's going to, but I would love it.
Yeah, well, it'll for sure be interesting. Make sure you guys comment down below what you thought of this mock draft that we did. Trent McDuffie at 21, who you'd like to see New England take over there, and what Peter Schrager got right and what he got wrong. We'll make sure to pass it along and tell him since we have connections to him. But thank you guys so much for the support. Like, subscribe, stay up to date with us on both of our Instagram pages, and we will talk to you guys later.